Right.
The people spoke. They wanted Delver, so we gave them an Affinity Mirror match. Pick better next time, people, and you might get a more exciting match.
So Bernie, when he looked at the deck he was given a play, said, "Oh wow, this would be fun." Somewhat sarcastically. Bernie, usually a Grixis player, clearly not playing Grixis this week. Taylor almost exclusively plays aggro. Sometimes it's Burn, sometimes it's Eldrazi. Most of the time it's Affinity though, and Bernie's on the play, which is probably
It's not a great start, but it's
but no,
pretty
it's
good.
not the best start. So there's a Mainboard Welding Jar. There's another land. So Taylor has 4 permanents to Bernie's 3. We'll see how important that is.
Much worse start.
Much worse from Taylor.
Yes, it's not.
It depends probably on what his follow play is here because of the Springleaf Drone.
Right, so you're comfortable trading this.
Yeah, he's just going to aggressively get rid of the Memnite. Bernie's follow-up is a Spellskite. Let's see what Taylor's got. I know Taylor plays the main board Master of Ethereums. Speaking of the devil, there it is.
It is. That's going to be a big one.
Yeah, because of a Galvanic Blast in hand to deal with that Spellskite. I think there's a Plating in Bernie's hand, but again, this is not...
Yeah, this Master of Ethereum is huge in the mirror.
This is not the best time for Cradle Planning. You see Ink Texas Planning and 2 other cards for Bernie. Taylor's got, looks like, Ink Moth and a Blast. And
Galvanic Blast, yeah.
a couple other cards as well. Ink Moth at turn is like a Blink Moth in hand. Plating goes on the Xenoplast. Then he's going to attack. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Taylor goes to 15. Now Taylor goes to untap with this Master in hand, this Blast in hand. Draws a Signal Pest to return. This is land. Here's a Signal Pest. Here's an Animated Ink Moth. Here's an attack with just the Master and the Ink Moth. So it's to be 2 infect and 6 damage, I believe.
That's what it looks like.
Yep.
Debating throwing this Spellskite in front.
No, I
Probably
think he already
not a
took it.
great idea.
Pretty sure he already took the damage.
No, I think he's counting out.
Yeah, I was just thinking. Mr. Nelson, quick on the gun there as Bernie quickly untaps and draws. Second Signal Blast into the second Cradle Planning in his hand. Jeez. Planning number 2. Taylor seems thrilled about it. I don't think this is lethal yet, though.
Definitely not lethal.
Might just die if he taps out. Possible. I don't know. He still has the Spellskite.
So if it's not lethal, it's bad news because Taylor can Galvanic Blast the Spellskite and then just like chump block with Ink Moth, chump block with
Yeah.
Ink Moth.
Or just jump off with anything, pretty much.
Well, they have to be flying to block the
That's true,
Signal
yeah.
Pest.
It's 14 there. Taylor goes to 1. End of turn, he's going to blast away.
I don't know why we didn't do
Spellskite.
that before damage to save
No
yourself
way.
2 lives, but
I
2
think he has a second one in his hand.
Oh, he does.
Draws the elbow from turn. Now Taylor gets to do the kind of lethal math. I don't think he can.
So no, if those were Blink Moths, he could.
Yeah. But the Ink Moth deals the poison. Bernie's at 2 poison. He cannot get the 10 poison this turn. This is Taylor's time to do math in this breathtaking mirror match. This number heavy, counting heavy.
So no cards in hand. You just swing in with your Master of Ethereum and Memnite.
He's got
And
the
your
pest
Signal Pest
trigger.
trigger.
Yeah, gets the pest trigger. He can use the Opal to bolt away one trigger, the blast I should say, and then yeah, he's the Ink Moth's able to block.
So you have a 6/6, 2/2, and a 1/2, and then they're each getting +1/+1.
Does the fact that Taylor's not being aggressive and tapping those lands give off any type of tell?
It means that he doesn't have lethal this turn, so he's at least telling that he's going to hold back those Ink Moths to block.
I think Bernie's hitting the blocks. Now he's going to throw, maybe. Bernie looks very unsure of this.
Yeah, Bernie's not familiar with the matchup.
Taylor is.
Taylor's definitely familiar with
Taylor
it.
played it, what, twice, 3 times? A couple weekends ago?
Yeah.
Bernie announces no blocks. Let's see what Taylor's got in response here.
So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Can he make it lethal?
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
That's 11 damage. It'll put Bernie to 3, and there's the last 4. So Taylor Gunn takes game 1. Off the power of a turn 2 Master of Ethereum, beats the double cranial plating hand that Bernie Wynn had.
Yeah, Master of Ethereum is very strong. Bernie's hand was not great. The double single pest with no other creatures is pretty rough. The best creature in this matchup is actually Vault Scourge.
Just because it gains life?
Yeah, it's just such a huge life swing.
Yeah, if one of those pests is a Vault Scourge and he throws a planning on that, then Taylor has to play a much more defensive game there.
Right.
So to the sideboard we go. Again, I think this is not Bernie's deck. It's someone else's deck he's borrowing. I think it's Doug's.
Yeah, I believe it's Doug's. No, it's Lopi's.
It's Lopi's from Doug. Probably.
But it's Doug's Spells Guide. I don't know.
It
doesn't matter.
Again, Bernie's normally a Grixis player. He pretty much played Grixis variants for quite a while, and then he's just recently got off that plan, tried out the Evolution deck a couple weeks ago on stream in a very memorable match.
Unfortunately, I did not get to watch that one, but I heard tremendous things from across the room.
It was interesting, let's put it that way. And again, Taylor, well-versed in Affinity, that definitely plays into his advantage. Again, he was able to win game 1 on the draw. Even though Bernie didn't have the best start, you always want to take that first game on the draw.
Yeah, if you win one on the draw, you're heavily favored.
The question then is going to be pretty much, how are these sideboards going to differ?
I'm sure Bernie's not intimately familiar with sideboarding this matchup, but he's a very strong Magic player. I'm sure he can figure it out.
Yeah, Bernie's definitely one of the better Magic players that the store has to offer. One of the more acclaimed Magic players the store has to offer. Taylor's no slouch either, though. Taylor knows his decks. He sticks to his decks. Doesn't like to diverge from his decks.
Certainly.
Loves him those aggressive decks. I remember him playing green-white aggro exclusively pretty much during RTR Throw Standard.
Well, sure. I mean, that format was dog shit anyway.
Format was great.
You didn't hear that from me. Format was awful. It made me quit Magic. That's how bad it was.
I know whenever a new set comes out, he's always ruined some sort of aggressive deck. On Battle Release Day, he tried out the red-black Eldrazi aggro deck.
He always just latches on to like 1 or 2 cards that he really wants to play and then just tries to force them into everything.
It's not always a bad thing, but not always a good thing either, necessarily, depending on the card itself.
Certainly. It's usually a bad thing. We'll leave it at that.
Unless the card's good.
It's still usually a bad thing.
But I mean, he learns specific archetypes. He learns the ins and outs.
Right.
Yeah, like him playing Affinity so much definitely gives him a huge advantage in this matchup.
Absolutely.
He knows the ins and outs. He knows the math. He knows the scenarios. He probably has a really good idea of all the possible cards in Bernie's sideboard.
I would say he's played this matchup, not in testing, but in actual tournament Magic, 100 times. That's how long he's been playing Affinity and how often the Spear match comes up.
Yeah, and considering how diverse Modern is, that's a very, very big number.
Absolutely.
He's just flat out talking about, hey, I'm pretty sure Taylor was very happy Bernie said no blocks there.
Oh, absolutely.
The second he said no blocks, he's like, okay, I just got you, as we saw.
But I mean, he was in a winning position either way.
Yeah,
even if he blocked.
He had the block. He had the double blockers for the pass. He had the blast ready to go. Bernie's flat out asking Taylor here for advice, which again shows how inexperienced Bernie might be in this matchup compared to Taylor's expertise. Do you think Bernie's deck has the Masters in it?
I don't know. It's hard to say. There's several different versions of this. A lot of them run the Masters in the board, and I'm assuming after seeing how potent it was in Game 1 for Taylor, he's going to bring it in.
Especially if he has it, yeah.
Oh, he's got the Vault Scourge,
And a
cranial
plating, and an opal, and a land. I think a Ravager too. Bernie's hand could be really good.
It's got everything it needs.
There's a Seagate Wreckage in there too.
Seagate Wreckage can damage the hand a little bit, though, especially if you draw it early.
This is Lakemoth. Here's the Scourge on the 18, but that's it. So I guess no plating there.
So if that Seagate Wreckage was Citadel, then it's...
Yeah.
Tit
Pretty
for
much
tat.
the exact same start from both players here. Let's see how they follow it up again. Bernie has a plating in hand, a second land in hand.
Taylor has an Ancient Grudge, it looks like, in hand.
Yep. Bernie's going to play the Seagate Wreckage. The oh man, says Taylor. It's a Springleaf Drum. And then this is going to be a Spellskite.
I like Spellskite, but I think he's leaning on Ravager here.
Yeah.
Nope.
Nope.
There we
this
go.
Is Spellskite. This Opal, I'm pretty sure he had the Opal in his opening hand. Just, I mean, he had no reason to play it, to be fair. No, he had, yeah, there's no reason to play it there. Because yeah, he has a bunch of 2-drops that he can't use.
Yeah, there's no reason to play it there, but I think he could have played it before the Spellskite. I guess he really values that extra 2 life.
Mm-hmm. Here's an attack for Taylor, just one. As Taylor has an Opal, Taylor has a second Vault Scourge.
And an Ancient Grudge. With the mana up for it.
Yep. I think it's Grudge, Glimmer Void, then another land in hand for Taylor, so it's going to be all in with this Grudge as Bernie plays the basic island. He's left over with Ravager and Cranial Plating.
He wants to lead with a Ravager here.
Any reason why?
The big reason why is you don't care as much if it gets blown up.
He's got the Spellskite back up, though, as he presents the plating. Plating will resolve, no surprise there. And then here comes the Ravager, too, which will also resolve Taylor's hand. Looks like Grudge and 3 lands.
Yeah.
There's an equip of Cranial Plating on the Vault Scourge. Here's an attack. Taylor's taking a lot of damage here. He's going to attempt to introduce Cranial Plating. This plating is dying. Let's just see if it dies now or later. He's looking at Spellskite, which he should be able to activate to redirect, correct?
Oh, he absolutely can.
Yeah. Each one's a double check.
So he's going to redirect to the Spellskite, pay the 2 life.
Which is, and yeah, Spellskite's an artifact, so it's
And
still
then-
good to go.
I think what he's going to ask is if he can redirect it to the Spellskite and then sacrifice it to the Ravager, which he can do.
Which is what he exactly just asked. So Bernie will take the 2, go to 15. And then here comes a bunch of damage coming through.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Should be 6, yes. Let's see if Taylor wants
Yeah,
to block.
big on blocking here.
Because it just trades.
Unless he sacrifices the Ravager to it.
But then, sure, he sacrificed the Ravager, and there's an Ancient Grudge he can flashback, right?
Exactly.
There's the block. Now it's Bernie's turn to think this over again. Is it worth it to sack the Ravager here with the Ancient Grudge just wouldn't be flashbacked?
No.
This is probably again too where, oh, he looks like he wants to go all in. There are 3 cards in Taylor's hand. They're not the best though. Pretty sure they're just 3 lands. Bernie just lets it happen. So both players will gain life. Bernie gains substantially more life as Taylor will untap and take his draw for the turn. He still has 3 artifacts.
He drew his own cranial plating. That's so big.
Oof. Glimmer Void for the turn. Here's his cranial plating. Here's his activated cranial plating. And here's an attack for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, 5.
That's a big deal. Andy's got the flashback on the Ancient Grudge.
Yeah, because it's just the 1 green to flashback, right?
Yep.
But he's just going to do it right now.
Yeah, you can't put the counters anywhere.
That's a really heads-up play by Taylor, knowing he's tapped out, knowing Avenger can't go anywhere. So Bernie has a board of nothing. He draws for the turn. It looks like a land. He'll play the land, and now he can activate Seagate Wreckage at least. Which he will. Interesting that he chose
it
that.
costs 1 more to draw that card.
I think it costs just the 2.
I think it costs 2 and a colorless.
Do the single pass return, and they'll pass it back. Let's find out together. As Taylor draws for his turn, it was a... You didn't slam it, so it's not cranial plating number 2. It is 2 in colors, yes.
So yeah, there
There
should
be
be
a
one more land
third land tap for Bernie.
If we could pause real quick and make sure that happens.
Meanwhile, Taylor play a Blake Moth at a turn. Bernie's backing up in his head. I mean, he's fine. He's just to tap that. He drew the signal pass, so he just hit the tap another Blake Moth Nexus, essentially. Yeah.
Okay.
Easy fix. Bernie says it'll change his play. And then Taylor wants to make sure that we fix it properly here. So we're going to find out how to fix this. We're going to back up a little bit. It's definitely one of the advantages to having these on-camera matches, to figure out what happened and figure out
Absolutely.
what went wrong. Still have no idea what Taylor drew for the turn, though. I mean, the grateful thing here is that literally there's nothing Bernie...
Yeah, there's all information known there.
Yeah, not only that, but the fact that Bernie was able to technically do everything he could do.
Absolutely.
He just had to tap one more land. It's not like, say, the J-Business at Pro Tour where we had the grateful rule change after that happened.
Yeah, that was a very good rule change.
Speaking of the Pro Tour, supposedly the drafts for Pro Tour Kaladesh will have the masterpieces in them.
Oh, wonderful.
Taylor's not a fan of that.
It's fine.
How do you feel about that? How do you feel about someone at the Pro Tour? It's your very first Pro Tour. You're playing you're excited, you're ready to go. Your product goes land for turn, soul ring, pass. How would you feel about that?
I would feel land mana vault 3 drop pass. I'm just kidding. I would never open a masterpiece because I'm not that fortunate. But it's fine. The odds of it happening at the Pro Tour are pretty slim.
They're super mythics. There will be the same rarity as the expeditions were. Let me try to find the exact quote that Helene... How do you pronounce her name? Bergeau?
Yeah, Bergeau.
Yeah, she said, just like Min asked for professional level drafts where the masterpieces be left in. I can see them greatly distorting the event. Just said, yes, they will as they are a full part of the experience.
It's interesting. It definitely gives you an advantage, but it's one card. And
one very, very rare card.
Right. So I don't think it's going to come up that often. We'll hear some story of it just completely, like somebody's PPTQ top 8, and they're just like, oh, I opened a Sword of Fire and Ice, and I was unstoppable. And it's like, okay, yeah.
I think BBD said, oh, it's going to be great for Bad Beat stories, too.
Yeah, exactly.
Should make for a very interesting pre-release, for sure.
Oh, absolutely. So I was talking to, I think it was Brandon about it. He's like, yeah, it's going to feel great when you, like, open one of these masterpieces and, like, you get to play it and pre-release. I'm like, you might open a masterpiece in a pre-release. I certainly won't. That will never happen for me.
And it's not that you're not playing on all of them this time.
Right.
So it looks like we're just completely rewinding the turn. Taylor's going to put back a random card that he's going to draw anyway. So we're going back to the part where Bernie activated Secret Wreckage.
Shuffle the deck.
Yeah. Bernie wants to know that since he has to pay extra if he has to pay it, Bernie wants to go back before he activates Secret Wreckage. The problem with this, Bernie wants to just not activate Secret Wreckage, and Taylor brings up a good point. Bernie's activating information now. Page a servant, choose the color you know. Ugh. Or a static orb. What do you think is the most broken masterpiece out there for limited?
It's probably Sword of Feast and Famine. Who am I kidding? It's Soul Ring. Soul Ring's completely busted. Sword of Feast, like the swords are insane when you draw them late game, but like the impact that Soul Ring has early game is enormous, and the impact it has in the mid game is still enormous.
It just, oh god, can you imagine you have like a Soul Ring and Sahili Rai? Oh.
Oh god.
Oh god. Turn 1 Soul Ring, turn 2 Sahili Rai minus... But can Sahili Rai... It's creatures and artifacts you can duplicate,
pretty
right?
sure. So you could do like a turn 1 Soul Ring just into like a turn 3 Gear Hulk, and it's just insane. Like
That's
there's
1, 2... It's only 4 mana though.
a turn 3,
Turn 3 Gear Hulk you can
so
do.
it's 5.
Yeah. Go turn 3, here's this 8/8 trample. Unlimited. Good luck.
Right.
You thought Pack Rat was good. I got all these fake Sahili Rais. There's a real one. Yeah, her -2 is create a token that's a copy of her artifact. So you can turn 1 Soul Ring, turn 2 Sahili Rai, copy your Soul Ring, still have 3 mana ready to go total.
Wouldn't actually let him keep up Blink Moth.
No, if he activates it, that's 4 mana. He has literally...
Well, even if it only costs 2, he only has 2 artifacts. No, he has 3 artifacts. Never mind.
He has Drum, Opal, and thing. I think you brought the point of, well, if it is a Moto, well, he legally cannot do it a Moto.
Right. Which is ideal, but at some point you have to be responsible to know your
Yeah, you
cards.
have to know your cards. And this is the disadvantage of playing with other decks so many different times.
Right.
Bernie's trying to appeal to go back all the way, and Scott's saying,
like, the
no, that's
actual
completely
thing
not fair.
that you could do, because he knows it's on top,
Yeah.
and so if he doesn't draw it, then he has to shuffle, but he still has gained advantage.
Yeah,
so I'm
exactly.
pretty sure the competitive REL fix is that it's looking at additional card, and because he did it in that way that, I don't know.
And it's important to note that this is not competitive REL. This is
Right.
regular REL. This is
just
a 4-round Tuesday night event. So back to the game. Taylor's still at a great advantage here. He's going to activate his big flop. He's going to swing in for a boatload. Total of 8, 7, which is lifelink.
Yeah, this is...
Bernie takes 8, goes down to 8, and Taylor's at the 30. Taylor's draw. Bernie's draw, I'm sorry. Looks like an artifact. So now that Bernie knows how much the Secret Wreckage costs,
It's actually a pretty good card to have at this point in the game.
Yeah, he plays an Ornithopter, which we have an attack for pretty aggressive attack here.
Well, I mean, if you know you're just going to chump with the Ornithopter anyway.
I mean, he's just going to gain life and life.
I don't like not switching the cranial plating over.
No, he definitely should switch it over. I mean, no, he can do it in instant speed. He can block with the Ornithopter, then activate the Opal and the Springleaf Drum to switch it instant speed still.
Oh, okay.
Meanwhile, here's a Master of Ethereum. Then Taylor's thinking about activating, which he will. And here's an attack for, again, a boatload. So let's see if Birdie catches the fact that he can instant speed swap out this cranial plating thanks to the Springleaf Drum and the Mox Opal.
I think he wants to draw the extra card from Seagate Wreckage.
I mean, he can do both.
So he can activate this.
But he's thinking about just paying 2. Not sure what that does there.
So he really wants to kill this Vault Scourge on this block. Like, that's very important.
Yeah, he can do both. He can pay the 2 colors to use the
Right.
wreckage, and then now he's lining up the... Yeah, that's exactly how he does it.
He might be trying to kill this Blinkmoth Nexus too.
Feels a little aggressive.
Certainly, but he's at 8 life.
Then he can't... What's more important here? Blocking and removing these Taylor's board or drawing cards?
I mean, you're going to have to block that Blinkmoth at some point anyway.
Yeah.
And if you draw something that costs like a significant amount of mana.
The only issue here is that this removes one of his lands, and again, since it costs essentially 4 mana to activate the Seagate Wreckage, it limits what he can do.
Right.
Since he'll have now 1 creature. He's going to pump the Blinkmoth, so he'll save the Blinkmoth. Now he's going to...
Blinkmoth's not saved.
That's right, because Master of Ethereum, so it'll just flat out trade. Because the Master pumps it, correct? Taylor again dying, get a 34.
And then we've got everybody trading. And then we've got Taylor at 34, Bernie at 8.
Taylor not swapping over the cranial plating, but he has a card in hand, so there's arguably a reason for him to do that.
I mean, even if there's not, he's got enough mana to where, like, just bluffing that is worthwhile.
Yeah. Bernie with a Thoughtcast. Not the worst draw. It's like a land and Ornithopter.
Oh, I'll hold on for a little while.
Bernie's doing a pretty good job of digging out of this. Bernie wants to indicate, hey, this is the one I played for turn. Just say, hey, it's something sick. So he's going to swap over that cranial plating onto the signal pass and then just...
Definitely not swinging here.
No. Just pass it back.
Alright, so Taylor doesn't want to lose this cranial plating.
He's got an Ink Moth at a turn, and that's the second cranial plating.
Alright. That's pretty good.
Or is it just throw plenty on the Master, throw plenty on the Blink Moth, and just go? Just attack?
I like just swinging in with Blinkmoth. Like, what's he going to do?
You mean just the Blink Moth? Nope, he's just going.
There we go.
Here's 2 platings. Here's a lot of damage. Let's see what you got.
So yeah, he can trade with the Blinkmoth without the cranial plating, so that's a good attack.
I think Taylor said that match is at 14-7. Bernie's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 artifacts, and he can make 2 more. So he can trade with the Master if he wants to. Again, this is a perfect example of the powers of Vault Scourge. Like you said, Taylor's at 34 life thanks to those 2 Vault Scourges.
Right, like he's perfectly fine putting this into top deck mode. He's also got twice the number of cranial platings.
Yep. Bernie's tapping a bunch of mana. He's trying to figure out how on earth he can possibly save one of his creatures, trying to figure out how he can make sure he kills the master, which seems extremely important. Taylor wants to make sure he knows what Bernie's doing, as Bernie's doing a lot of different tapping and without exactly clarifying what he's doing.
Alright, this is correct.
Yep. He's just throwing it up there. Nothing's activated yet. Now something's activated, maybe? Alright, Blinkmoth is animated. We have blocks. We have a pump. And we have an animation. So there are both Blinkmoths act as or activate. Total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 artifacts on the field for Bernie. So everything's going to trade. But now Bernie's
left with this Ornithopter.
Ornithopter and 1 Blinkmoth. Taylor has 2 Cranial Platings and 1 Inkmoth.
And 5 artifacts, so that Inkmoth with double plating is lethal.
But sure.
Yeah.
It's a Steel Overseer from Taylor Gunn.
That gets out of hand very quickly.
And Taylor says, well, your turn. What you got?
Well, you got to think he's got some kind of removal spell or something. Like, what wouldn't he have cast?
Yeah, he cannot activate Secret Records this turn. He has a card in hand.
So he might have, like, Ancient Grudge here?
Should be really good.
Just instant speed equipping this thing?
Yeah. There's an Ancient Grudge in his hand. So both players drawing extremely well.
So his Ancient Grudge is probably going to try to bait out the Inkmoth Nexus.
Bernie will play drum number 2 and just pass. Remember, Inkmoth is the only other creature that Taylor has technically besides the Overseer, as he does not play his card for the turn, just passes it back. I mean, there's the Ancient Grudge and the Overseer. You're probably going to see Taylor activate and then activate it. Yep. And then he's going to flash it back right away and kill the Inkmoth.
Sure.
So now Taylor has no creatures, as Bernie draws his card for the turn.
So now we're in a position where the Seagate Wreckage can shine if he can
keep playing cards. But he's tapping, so there's Bernie's own Steel Overseer. He doesn't attack. Nope, there's a blast. Bernie's going to respond by wisely activating the Overseer to make sure he can draw the card off the Springleaf Drum.
Memnite.
Taylor plays a Memnite and just immediately throws on the Cranial Platings. Is that another Overseer in Bernie's hand?
I couldn't see. Flick around. There it is.
So now Taylor's back in the tank. These both players are drawing quite well. There's an Ancient
Grudge.
So goodbye Cranial Plating. He can flash it back right away too. Goodbye Steel Overseer. I mean, he can still activate for Secret Wreckage. He's going to float a mana. Taylor wants to move to attack, and Bernie's probably going to activate this Wreckage before. Because otherwise he's dead. I mean, he can block with the Ornithopter, but...
Yeah, I don't... Does he have the man? So he's 1, 2, 3...
He has the one floating. Yeah, he's going to use it, yeah.
And then smash in there.
Taylor's going to smash in there. There's a gigantic trump block. It's only 7 for what it's worth, so would not been lethal. Bernie has a
Memnite of his own.
Memnite of his own, and I think another Springleaf Drum, so Bernie can empty out his hand and still draw cards. That's exactly what he does, as Taylor will untap. With that gigantic Memnite, he will draw. He's reaching for mana. That's a Vault Scourge.
That's a big one.
Did he say... Yeah, he said pass.
Yeah, you don't want to
Oh
trade
my
them.
god.
There's
Bernie has another Ancient Grudge in his hand, it looks like.
and a Gear per eighth grid. So
Well,
this is where this matchup gets weird.
both players are not missing. Bernie plays the Aether Grid. And he's pinging Taylor's entire board. Of course, he's tapping 2 artifacts to deal 1 damage or something. Taylor just says go. Bernie's moving on really fast now.
Well, he realizes that this game's been dragging and he's
Yeah.
down a game.
And has to deal either, well, he has the Ink Moth, but he has to deal either 33 points of damage or 10 points of impact. Taylor plays the Sprintling Strum and passes. I have no idea what's in his hand. There's the Aether Grid for you. Bernie... Bernie playing really fast and aggressive and loose. Bernie knows this is 22 minutes at the clock. He has to finish this up. Another Sprintling Strum there for Bernie. Bernie's going to deal some more damage, it looked like. Yep. There's a Grudge in hand. There's an Ornithopter on the field.
He might have 2 grudges in hand.
Yep. So, Secret Wreckage is off. However, Bernie's A-okay with that Aether Grid out there. Again, no idea what Taylor has. There's a Master Ethereum there for Bernie in this game. Might be closing shortly.
Yeah, that's definitely not good for Taylor.
He's an Aether Grid of his own! Bernie's like, yeah, I'm going to respond to that. I don't blame him, because...
I'm going to blow up an artifact.
Yeah, I'm going to blow up 4 artifacts, maybe?
You can
There's
only get 1. No, you can get 2.
You can get 2. So down goes both cranial platings. For what it's worth, Taylor has 2 Darksteel Citadels. Not sure if he'll be fast enough to matter.
So he can deal 1 this turn. If he draws any artifacts, he can deal 2 next turn.
But that Master Ethereum is just going to
Oh,
roll
yeah.
away this game. Taylor just is
Scooping
done
him up.
scooping him up. We're going to get a game 3. Bernie win. Out top decking Taylor Gunn. Also announcing that, hey, I don't have any Aether Grudges.
He said he doesn't have that
Ancient
many
Grudges, yeah,
Ancient
that
Grudges
many.
in the sideboard.
Bernie saw 3 of them. And again, Bernie's saying I should read these cards I've never seen before, never played with before. Again, that Taylor had the right line of play. It's just Bernie drew some sideboard cards. He drew a lot of sideboard cards. He drew 4 sideboard cards.
It happens.
That happened. So we're going to game 3. Taylor going to be on the play. We're going to see how aggressive he can be as both players look like they're quickly sideboarding up for the play draw defendant. Did anything change about Cher being on the play or on the draw for both players?
It depends on what they sideboarded in. So you saw Ancient Grudges for sure. You saw the Gear per Aether Grid. It's possible that if you're on the play, you don't really want the Steel Overseer because you want to be as explosive as possible. And he could be sideboarding based on the fact that he knows Bernie brought in a bajillion Ancient Grudges.
Does Taylor have any counter magic in there hiding?
He definitely has some Spell Pierces, but I don't know if that's where he wants to be.
Seems interesting for sure. Checking some spoilers here. I don't see any new spoilers from the evening.
Oh, it's a shame.
We only got 3 more days. Well, they emailed out some whales, apparently.
Some whales?
Some whales, yes. So it was a Wizards account holder exclusive that I got in my random email box. We have Aether Squall Agent, 5 blue, so it's a 7-drop. It's a flying 6/6.
That's a Leviathan. That's not a whale.
Those whales over there. So this one's Leviathan.
Okay, so there is a whale. All right,
yeah.
I'm on board again.
So flying 6/6 for 7 mana. At the beginning of your upkeep, you get 3 energy. Pay 2, 4, 6, 2, 8 energy. Return all other creatures to their owner's hands. Activate this ability only when he casts a sorcery. That's DDH Father.
It's a limited bomb.
Yeah, sure, yeah. Taylor plays 3 artifacts in his turn. Well, 2 artifacts and a possible artifact. Not the best start, not the worst start though. Bernie with a turn 1 island. Oh, that's not the best start.
I'm pretty sure I saw an Ancient Grudge in Taylor's hand.
But he has the Vault Scourge, so... Okay, maybe this isn't that bad of a start for Bernie.
It's a pretty strong start.
Yeah, just the awkward island. Taylor will play a Darksteel Citadel. 3 mana here for the turn 2 Master of Ethereum, which seems pretty good.
I think both players have an Ancient Grudge, or maybe Taylor's is...
Taylor's is a blast. I
Galvanic
think he drew that for the turn. He has a Planing in hand, too, it looks like.
Bernie also has a Master of Ethereum in hand, I'm pretty sure.
It's going to be interesting to see how these players want to... Well, there's an Ancient Grudge, so Bernie's going to be reactive to start this out. And he's going to get in for 2?
He doesn't have the 3rd land for that Master yet.
So he turns it for...
4.
4. Bernie will gain 2, Taylor takes 4. And then you see Bernie's hand is Pest, Ethereum, Ravagers. Taylor will draw for the turn. There's a 2nd Opal in his hand. As well as the Blast, the Plating, and another red card, I think. Here's Cranial Plating. It's equipped. And we're attacking for 5. Bernie wants to untap. Taylor says, no. We're going to play Mox Opal number 2 and pass it back. Bernie has to think that there's something waiting here as he draws his card for the turn.
Certainly.
Looks like they come off Nexus. Meanwhile, here's the Whale. 2 blue, flying. 4/3, so 4/3 flyer for 4.
So we got a Flying Whale first off.
And it can only block creatures with flying.
That's a pretty bomby limited card.
As Taylor, as Bernie attempts to resolve a Arc Ravager, in response, Taylor will Galvanic Blast away to Signal Blast. Ravager resolves, and Bernie's going to attack for 1 of the air. We're going to flip-flop the life totals. And then... Does Bernie want to play that Signal Pest yet?
I don't see a reason not to.
He does and passes back the turn. Meanwhile, we have Sky Whaler shot. So these are whales being shot.
Wow.
Two and a white. 2 and a white for an instant. Destroy target creature for power 3 or greater. Scry 1. As Taylor is attempting to Galvanic Blast this Ravager.
Why are we whaling in this set? Like, that's just...
I thought we were inventing artifacts, and all of a sudden we're whaling.
Right. All of a sudden we're immoral and...
It's too bad there's no Eldritch Moons out there, because then we could be some whalers on the moon.
Oh, yeah.
We can hunt with our harpoons.
That's true.
Taylor's going to attack with this Memnite. Bernie takes a trade. Bernie will
Taylor's
play
not in
planet
great
number
position
2.
here.
No, he's not.
Bernie has another Ancient Grudge in hand, too.
He has Ancient Grudge and Master of Ethereum. You just
jam your Master here.
Yeah, just say, what do you got?
I think you have to keep the Vault Scourge back, though.
Yeah. I mean, Signal Pest has reach, though, correct?
No, it can only be blocked by creatures with flying, but it can't block creatures with flying.
Yeah, if he attacks with the Vault Scourge, then he's just dead.
If Taylor draws a land.
True, yeah. He does keep the Vault Scourge back,
wisely
though.
keeps it back.
Taylor does not draw land. He draws a Vault Scourge. He's going to throw a Prey on it going, I got him. I'm going to stabilize this board, but little does he know.
Ancient Grudge number 2 en route. Or just the flashback. Yeah, that makes sense too.
Yeah, hides the information. Plays the Steel Overseer, and he's going to get in for a bunch of damage.
Go to 8. Yeah, this game is basically over here.
Not sure what Taylor's going to draw. It's an Ornithopter. It can block. But again, this is a Glimmer Void. He can double cast this Ancient Grudge now. Instead, he's not. Yeah, he's just going to... We're done. We're just done. Bernie Wynn takes this match 2-1, despite losing game 1 on the play.
Certainly.
Cyborg cards, the Ancient Grudges. Taylor again said, I don't have that many Ancient Grudges. Bernie had that many entry charges.
Yeah, I think Bernie had 3 and Taylor had 2, and
that was the difference.
that was the difference in game 2.
All right. We got one more round to go. We will be back with some more Modern Magic here on Tuesday night.
Some more whales.
Some more whales? I'll try to find some more whales.
We'll find some more whales, or I'll just start making whale noises.
You take 6. The painful truths are extremely painful for you. And these stupid scions are protecting me from Liliana.
Did you have it? Yeah. 10? Actual stone rain?
Stone rain this time.
What are you doing?
Go. This is the situation. This is fine.